Welcome to this special edition of the New Stack Makers on the road for KubeCon EU 2022 in Valencia, Spain. Discussions from the show floor with technologists giving you the expertise and insights that will help you in your everyday work.
NetApp is the data authority for hybrid cloud, providing a full range of data services that simplify management of applications and data across cloud and on-premises environments. NetApp empowers global organizations to unleash the full potential of their data and foster greater innovation.
Hola, and welcome to KubeCon EU here from Valencia, Spain. This is another edition of the New Stack on the Road. This is a special edition of our podcast Makers. And we're here today in an event sponsored by Spot by NetApp. Spot.io makes it easier for DevOps teams to deliver modern applications efficiently using Kubernetes with their Ocean product suite. This includes their core Ocean platform, Ocean for Apache Spark, and OceanCD, which will be in general availability in August. And I'd like to have each of my guests introduce themselves, starting on my left.
Hi, thank you for having us. I'm JY Stephan, Senior Product Manager at Spot by NetApp, and I focus on the product called Ocean for Apache Spark, so the big data product.
Hi, thank you for having us. My name is Gilad Shahar. I'm Product Manager at Spot. I'm responsible for our scaling offering in containers, which we call Spot Ocean.
Great.
Hi, thank you for having us. I am Yarin Pinyan. I'm a product architect at Spot and I'm mainly focused on OceanCD and Azure products.
Terrific. Well, I wanted to get started a little bit by talking about what do you find are some of the challenges that DevOps teams face as they're scaling Kubernetes?
I think with containers, microservices, and Kubernetes, obviously, being heavily utilized throughout the industry, there are many challenges that rise up. Specifically, some of them are related to the infrastructure management. Or in other words, managing the actual cloud VMs that your containers are running on. This can bring different challenges in a day-to-day DevOps world, like scaling, understanding how to answer when your services have more traffic, and how to answer correctly and in a high cost-effective way. These are few different challenges that DevOps face on a day-to-day basis that we try to solve for.
Additional problems that you see with scaling Kubernetes?
Definitely. If I can add a little bit of color, maybe coming with my background, which is more on big data. One thing that Spot by NetApp does really well is to run workloads on Spot machines. And so Spot or Preemptible are like cheaper machines, up to 90% cheaper, but they can be reclaimed at any time. And so many companies, try to use them, but then, get bitten by instability issues. And Spot really, I think, started the company around this idea of optimizing which instance to give you to minimize your costs as much as possible while still giving you a lot of stability and avoiding the Spot interruptions as much as possible. And so that's something that in big data can mean a lot of cost savings and a lot less headaches for the data teams operating these infrastructures.
How can Kubernetes be used efficiently for when running big data workloads via Apache Spark? What does Apache Spark do?
Yeah, great question. So first, what does Apache Spark do? Because at KubeCon, it's not so much focused on Apache Spark. So Apache Spark is a big data technology. It lets you process, analyze large volumes of data. I'm talking hundreds of gigabytes or terabytes of petabytes. And until recently, you could not deploy Spark on top of Kubernetes. You had to deploy Spark somewhere else in the Hadoop world. And so all the regular software engineers were getting the cool technology with Kubernetes cloud native solutions. And the big data engineers, they were stuck with, technologies from 10 years ago. And that's one thing that we now enable. We let you run Spark on top of Kubernetes And the benefits for the Spark developers is it's a lot more developer friendly. It's a lot more flexible, and it can also be a lot more cost effective. So we go back to the earlier point where we can enable 50, 60, 70, 80, 90% savings on total costs. And when you run big data workloads, you run them at scale. So we're talking potentially millions, and that's what we help companies achieve, and hopefully make their data teams more autonomous and give them a better life and work experience at the same time.
We often hear that developers, it is difficult for developers to run databases on Kubernetes. What is what do you see as some of the disadvantages to not having that abstraction, not having that ease of use for a developer?
Yeah, so I think to maybe add to what JY just mentioned, you can look at it as a few layer problem or a few layer solution.
Right.
So one layer, or maybe the bottom layer, would focus on how to leverage what cloud has to offer. Cloud has to offer many different services, different ways to consume compute, and different pricing models for the same type of compute. But as JY mentioned, there are pros and cons to using different models. With our solutions, the idea is that the infrastructure is led by the application, meaning we call it application-driven infrastructure. So basically, developers, DevOps that enable developers to build and design the application and its needs. And so from understanding what the application needs, from the manifest describing the application, our solutions can take these descriptions and match the best fit infrastructure in a continuous manner. So the bottom layer, as I said, would be to leverage the pricing models and the different options that are given by the cloud provider. Availability zones, for example, are meant to distribute the risk of using compute in the cloud. What we do is to continuously try and distribute the infrastructure onto these availability zones. Everything, again, happens in a continuous manner. So we always try to optimize again and again. And with dynamic environments like Kubernetes and containerized environments, this continuous operation is very useful. On top of that bottom layer, there is a bin packing layer. Now, once you have your infrastructure up and running and your containers are running on this infrastructure, you don't want to end there, but to try and see how you can be as highly allocated and highly efficient with what you purchase. So once compute was purchased, we want to make sure that it's consumed. And if it's not consumed, then we will do whatever we can to lower the amount of compute that's being used, so the containers fill up almost entirely what you purchase. And finally, a third layer, if you will, would involve looking at the application itself, either if it's a big data workload or any other workload, database, burstable workloads, and so on, and try to recommend and try to position them in a way that the application will benefit from great performance, but also highly effective infrastructure.
Yarin, could you tell us a little bit about OceanCD?
Yeah, OceanCD is the new product that we're now building, which, as you mentioned, will be generally available during August. So OceanCD comes to solve a very complex problem in Kubernetes, where it's very hard to perform canary deployments. So previously, when you were running normal VMs without Kubernetes, it was pretty easy to do canary deployments because you had to scale up a VM and then see if the new version works fine on it, and then gradually scale the others. In Kubernetes, it's pretty complex because you have to deal with many pods and deployments and all of the other CRDs if you're doing it. So OceanCD, the goal of it is solve the problem of canary deployments in Kubernetes. Is basically a continuous delivery product that aims to give you a way to perform strategy in your canary deployments with many rollout specifications, rollback strategies into your Kubernetes deployments, and above all, like with verifications throughout the deployment. Like, for example, if you want us to integrate into your metric server or some like, let's say, Elasticsearch or Prometheus in order to like get data about what is going in your deployment and therefore take actions. Like, if some of my applications are not behaving well in the new version, then roll it out, then we're doing it. So basically, canary deployments helps organization to gradually release a new version and safely do it. And this is a problem in Kubernetes that this product will solve. And we're very excited about it because this is like a problem which is very common between Kubernetes administrators and generally available in August.
Specifically for an enterprise level organization, what do you feel are some of the problems that what some of the things that you feel that your products solve, or that the greater automation in terms of data can
specifically
solve
for enterprise users? I think in enterprise, bigger organizations, the scale of people that participate in the containerized environment has its impact. Specifically, what we see more in enterprise organizations is that the DevOps or SRE teams are strictly a service provider for the developers. In many cases, we're talking about a ratio of 1:10, 1:20, or 1:50 between a DevOps engineer and developers. And so with that in mind, we try to design our solutions in a way that will allow the DevOps to set things once and basically provide a pre-baked solution for the developers. Because the developer, at the end of the day, knows best what their application will require. And the DevOps knows best how to act when the environment is not stable, when something gets stuck or any other problem. But there is no one entity that covers, end to end all this cycle. And it's more clear in enterprise organizations that are obviously very big. So with that in mind, for example, we allow to break the configuration into parts where the DevOps will be able to set, let's say, 80% of the configuration, and then developers can leverage it in different ways. So the 20% that are left are basically left for the developers. Specifically, technically speaking, the way we do it is through a feature we call virtual node groups. In other products, you can also find a similar entity, similar concept. But the idea with Ocean and the suite of products is that you can abstract infrastructure using labels. So you configure once a spec of infrastructure, let's say a set of different VMs to use, the operating system that is going to be installed on them, and some other characteristics, and then represent them using labels. Let's say, big data workloads, that will be my label. And then my developers, the data engineering team, will be able to ship their applications into that infrastructure using just labeling their application as big data application. And other teams, my finance teams, for example, will be able to do the same and get the relevant infrastructure for them.
If I can chime in and add to that answer, because enterprises do run a lot of big data workloads, and one issue that I've seen so many times is that they regret purchasing a very expensive vendor solution that will lock them in. And that's also one of the reasons why people are so excited about Kubernetes, is because it's open source, it's cloud agnostic, it gives you a lot of flexibility. And that's what Ocean for Apache Spark, and in general, running Spark on Kubernetes gives you the flexibility to customize things, to apply your security standards, your data privacy standards in a very secure manner. And also, not lock you in, not tie you in to a cloud provider, to a commercial offering. I won't name specific competitors, but definitely certain choices will lock you in for years, and we're trying to break away that barrier.
Yeah, speaking on enterprise solution, that's exactly what OceanCD will bring to the table, as it will allow like the managers and the DevOps managers to get the visibility into what's going on previously with their deployments and how things change once they started to use OceanCD. And when you're speaking about enterprise solutions and in enterprises in Kubernetes, the way that you're performing those canary deployments and the continuous delivery and verifications is something that is not yet to be solved. Right, this is a problem that you always tend to do some open source solution from that, and then you try to do things that are not scalable. So OceanCD is right there to be the scalable solution for your continuous delivery and progressive delivery applications, and that's exactly what we're trying to solve.
Okay, terrific. I guess we're wrapping up now. Thank you very much for joining us, JR, Gilad, and Yarin.
Yeah, thank you.
And we'll see you next time. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more videos like this, you can always subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're on all the major social media platforms. You can always find us at thenewstack.io. We hope to see you soon.